do believe if she was focused on you and wanted you to heal,
it will give you the opportunity to access places and spaces, locations and destinations that you've never been to before.
she's got power and knowledge and the ability to implement her knowledge. I want you to pay attention to her. It's something special.
The energy went through us all.
My name is Lotus Dawn, and I will be your guide. I have a business, Blossom with Lotus, which is all about empowering people with the power of the stars. We're learning about the 13th sign today. My guess is if you're here, then you're a shaman, you're a guide, you're a mystic, you're someone who is deeply in touch with energy. You're deeply in touch with the power of energy, the power of transformation. And that is what this 13th sign is all about. So I'm so glad you're here. We're going to have a really exciting day, because the work we're about to go into today and reveal is truly powerful, truly transformational, and all of you really deserve to know about it. Are you ready? You ready to light the fire to see the truth? Ancient mysteries, the ancient secrets, that is Ophiuchus, the ancient mystery keeper, all the sacred knowledge of humanity. This is what this energy connects us to. And today at the new moon, we are diving into the roots of this sign. Who is it? What does it mean? How can we connect to it? And it is infinite, and it is powerful, and it is profound. And truly something to celebrate. So glad you're here. Truly, Ophiuchus allows us to tap into the ancient storehouse of wisdom that's been hidden for thousands of years. So this is really powerful from the Bible. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the sky above proclaims his handiwork. Day to day pours out speech, and night to night reveals knowledge. Psalm 19. Okay, and so many people say the Bible and astrology don't get along, right? And we shouldn't do astrology. And that's been a battle, I think, that Ophiuchus has faced for many thousands of years, because I think Ophiuchus has carried the knowledge of the stars and the knowledge of the heavens, and has received quite a lot of resistance from the mainstream around expressing their truth. So what are we going to dive into? What mysteries are we going to uncover today? What sacred knowledge are we going to explore and go into? Whew. So are you ready to learn why this coming December 19th is so powerful for manifestation? Okay. So before we go there, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Okay. So God supposedly created the heavens and created the stars. And so us following them aligns us to God, because the stars are part of God's kingdom. How beautiful is that, right? Okay. How many of you have heard of something called the Galactic Center? Anyone heard of this? Yeah? Sophie, do you know anything about it?
I think you've already talked about it, but I forgot what it was.
Yeah. Okay. So the Galactic Center is situated in the center of the Milky Way galaxy. Okay? In the very center. It's called, if you want to look it up, Sagittarius A. And as you can see, it's very close to Ophiuchus. So Ophiuchus is down here by the sun, and his right foot is like his right leg is in the Galactic Center, or Sagittarius A. Now, here's a better picture of it. So this is a cluster. You can tell this is a cluster of quite a lot of energy. So what is the Galactic Center? Well, the Galactic Center contains a huge, supermassive black hole. Supermassive. In fact, it's the size of 4 million solar masses. What? It's over 26,000 light years from Earth. And it's literally the energy of these gigantic, massive black holes is what the entire galaxy organizes itself around. So you can imagine it like a magnet, right? That the whole galaxy is sort of rotating around because it's the center point. Inside of these supermassive giant black holes are cosmic storms of energy moving at the rate of about 50,000 miles per second. Okay, so in the center of the Milky Way galaxy is the galactic center, specifically Sagittarius A star, which consists over 4 million solar masses. So think the sun times 4 million, okay? This is about 26,000 light years from Earth, so it's not that far. It's what the entire galaxy organizes itself around. And that these cosmic storms that are moving around inside of the black holes are releasing energy in the form of X-rays, gamma rays, Hawking radiation, and more. So they're not just dead, like they are alive. They are full of energy. And so on December 19th, the sun will line up the closest to Sagittarius A galactic center that it does the entire year. Okay. And I often think of the galactic center and the gigantic, massive black holes, well, a number of ways. One is that black holes are the remnant of incredibly large, collapsed ancient stars. So thousands, millions of years ago, Sagittarius A was a collection of really bright stars, maybe planets even. Okay, so what was there? I often wonder what was there. And I think that maybe there were a lot of ancient truths from our past in that location. Who we are, where we come from, what our story is. And in the same way that whales on our Earth are considered to be the record keepers of all of the history of humanity, people also say that perhaps the galactic center and these gigantic black holes carry the secrets and knowledge of our entire civilization from the beginning, like record keepers, okay? And so the sun is literally going to be conjunct this galactic center on December 19th. Now, I want you to think a minute about creation and about how do we create anything. And I want you to think all the way back to the mother's womb. It was dark there, wasn't it? It was dark. It was warm, but it was dark. And if you think back to a seed growing in the earth, deep in the soil, it was dark there too. And so all of life truly comes from the darkness, right? It arises from the little speck of life, the seed of our intention or our desire rises in that dark, fertile ground. That's why the new moon is so fertile. And think about it being in the sign of Ophiuchus, which relates to Ophiuchus is the sign closest to the galactic center. And so Ophiuchus is the record keeper. Ophiuchus is the ancient record keeper of humanity that has held the truth for thousands of years.
Zodiac constellations, there are actually 13. Ophiuchus, which is Greek for the serpent bearer, is our forgotten sign. It has 55 visible stars and is home to Bernard's star, which is the fastest moving star through our night sky. Nestled between Scorpius and Sagittarius, Ophiuchus dwarfs the constellations it surrounds. Although it was one of the original 48 star patterns that Ptolemy cataloged, some scientists speculate that it might have been dropped as a zodiac sign to keep an even number of 12.
Yes. So here we have from the History Channel from NASA this video recording of them saying there are actually 13 signs, which if you Google Ophiuchus and the 13th sign, you'll probably find, oh, it's not a sign, etc. So here we have out of the horse's mouth, as they say, yes, we do have a 13th sign and it is Ophiuchus, right? And we are all sort of here accepting that it's here and exists. So now what, right? What do we do now? So now that we know Ophiuchus is here, this is really interesting. So this is from NASA. I went online and I found where NASA released that there are actually 13 signs, which if you Google Ophiuchus and the 13th sign, you'll probably find, oh, it's not a sign, etc. So here we have out of the horse's mouth, as they say, yes, we do have a 13th sign and it is Ophiuchus, right? And we are all sort of here accepting that it's here and exists. So now what, right? What do we do now? So now that we know Ophiuchus is here, this is really interesting. So this is from NASA. I went online and I found where NASA released that we have a 13th sign Ophiuchus. And they say, but even according to the Babylonians' own ancient stories, there were 13 constellations in the zodiac. Now, they say that they chose to leave one off because 12 would fit really nicely in that circle. And so it would be easier to do the mathematics. However, as I'm going to share with you today, I think there might have been more to why they left the 13th sign out and why I'm so passionate and so excited. And this picture is actually from NASA's website. So there they have Ophiuchus listed as the number of the 13. So very interesting. So when you add, why would they leave the 13th sign out, right? And why would I want to do a new moon call on the day, the new moon of the Ophiuchus new moon, to share this with you? I can't believe how powerful this is. I'm literally like buzzing from head to toe to just get to be here and just to get to share this information with you. Why would Babylonians, remove the 13th sign from their constellations? Because if you look up at the sky, and you look up the constellation of Ophiuchus, it's actually huge. It's not just like a little star cluster. It's like one of the biggest constellations. So it doesn't really make sense that you would leave it off, right? It just doesn't make sense. And so here are some theories or ideas and also explanations for what is Ophiuchus. So when you add one more sign to the 12 signs, you get 13. And there's some really interesting synchronicity at play today, which I'm going to go into in just a moment. But 13 relates to the number of moons that actually occur per year. Okay, if you were to count the weeks differently, we would actually have 13 moons per year. And it would add up very nicely. There's a couple of posts on Facebook that explain this in greater depth. Another thing that happens is when you add the 13th sign, you get alignment to the fact that women have 13 menstrual cycles per year. And then this ties into the idea that the turtle, which has long been a representative or symbol of Mother Earth, especially in Native American traditions, they say that the turtle, swims through the ocean of the galaxy and has the earth on her back. While the turtle has 13 humps on its back, and then around the outside of the 13, it has 28 more humps. And it's just so powerful that when you add Ophiuchus back to the constellational system, you align the zodiac wheel to the natural rhythm of nature. And how perfect to be here on a new moon, connecting to the power of the 13th sign, connecting back to the true nature of who we are and to our connection to nature, right? Ancient Egyptians knew about Ophiuchus. They represented Ophiuchus as Imhotep, or even the god Thoth, or connected to the energy of Ophiuchus. And so one of the energies of Ophiuchus that I really want to tap into is the power of manifestation. And in just a moment, I'm going to go really deep into why I say that Ophiuchus is the most powerful time of the year for manifestation. And I want you to write this down because there's actually a day coming up here really soon that is like the peak manifesting day of the entire year. And I'll share with you why. Right now, this new moon is a little bit like a doorway or an initiation forwards, which is really powerful. We're beginning a cycle. We're beginning an initiation cycle. And so you might be feeling things coming up You might be feeling your psychic abilities strengthening. That is because Ophiuchus relates to our connection to mastery, to sacred knowledge, to energy. Okay, so here we go. Wow, okay. So today we are about to dive deep into the 13th sign. And if you want to take a screenshot of when you add a 13th sign, it changes all of the dates that the other signs are actually on. And so if you want to take a screenshot of what those new dates are for a 13 sign, for the 13 sign system, go ahead and do that. And why do we do any of this? Why do we focus on manifestation? You know, they knew of Ophiuchus in the ancient mystery schools. They knew of Ophiuchus before the Babylonians took it off of the calendar. They knew of Ophiuchus was there in the sky for a long time. Some say that Ophiuchus doesn't represent a man holding a snake. They say that it represents a woman holding a snake, or maybe it represents a man and a woman holding a snake, right? Maybe it doesn't have to be one or the other, but really it just represents a being transmuting the power of the snake. Anyone want to unmute and talk about, you know, what is the snake? What do you know about the snake? What is the snake all about? Because what Ophiuchus means is actually holding a serpent, to hold, have, or keep. And it's from Latin or Greek, which is Ophiuchus, literally holding a serpent, from the word ophis, which is serpent, ophio, to hold, have, or keep. So does anyone want to unmute and share? What do you know about snakes and symbology? What do you know about snakes and their role energetically? Anyone want to share? Why might Ophiuchus symbol be known as the snake tamer? What is the snake? What does it represent? What do we know about it? What do we know about it in popular culture?
I
Go
don't know
ahead.
about popular culture, but in the shamanic world, the serpent or the snake is the keeper of the south.
The cell?
The south is
The
the
south.
direction. The south.
Yeah.
It's in
The
north and
south.
south.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so what does the south represent, Karen? Do you remember?
No, I don't.
Okay, it might, I know some in feng shui, the south represents fame and it represents fire. So I wonder if there's a relationship there as well. So the snake really represents life, right? Because what does the snake do? The snake sheds its skin, right? We go through these cycles. So the snake really represents the medicine of transformation. Anyone else want to share what you know about the snake? So Leanne says, snakes are there to shed. They represent the healer. We are taught to fear them like spiders, but they are powerful and they ask us to go into our power. The south represents fire and creative energies stepping into our power. Oh, let me invite you, Leanne. I would love to hear you say that out loud. That was beautiful. Yeah, so one of my main goals with this work, getting it out there, is to empower women to speak and to share their truth, because that was actually my greatest wound that I've been healing. And it's very deep when we desire to share our truth and our gifts and we don't feel like we can. And I feel like Ophiuchus being brought back to the zodiac, being brought back to popular culture. There she is. Awesome. Really helps us to tap into our power so that we can get out there and share our truth. Leanne, go ahead and share. What did you want to go ahead and share with us? What do you know about the snake? Because you sound like
Okay.
you know quite a bit. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me as a participant now. So the snake is really symbolic for us to step into our power. It is a huge expression of we're going to shed and let go of the old. It's a lot of density being taken out so you can step into your power. And it's something that I look at as that's what we fear, stepping into the shadows, stepping into the darkness, stepping into our truth and our power. And I think Ophiuchus, especially with what you're saying, really, really symbolizes and represents us to go into that power. And it's like living your truth, but you have to go through what's hard. You have to shed what is so maybe painful or just what you've been avoiding your whole life. It's a extremely powerful energy.
Mm-hmm. Right. Totally on point. And so Ophiuchus really represents us tapping into the initiation of our transformation, right? It is the transformation. It is the initiation. It is like Scorpio, right? The sign that is before it prepares us for the initiation, for the mastery of Ophiuchus. So Scorpio clears a lot of energy, and you would notice Scorpio energy is really big, and it like tends to bring a lot of stuff up, and it's really intense and it's really deep. Well, after Scorpio, Ophiuchus steps in, and Ophiuchus is the master. And I always think of Ophiuchus as the priest or priestess in the ancient secret mystery school who has been through a lot. They're like a teacher, right? They've already kind of gone through the Scorpio phase. And they're like, okay, let me assist you, right? So maybe they work with novices, maybe they work with beginners, maybe they work with others who are on the path, and they're a little bit farther along. So it can speak to having a little bit of spiritual mastery, right? A little bit of spiritual skill, whereas Scorpio is just that like pure, intense, transformational energy. Ophiuchus begins to master it and then begins to teach it. And so a lot of great teachers have Ophiuchus very strongly in their chart, okay, either by their sun sign or some other location in their chart. Anyone want to share where you have Ophiuchus in your chart? Because we mean by house, right? So in an astrological chart, everyone has a house, a rising sign, which determines what sign is along the outside of the house. And wherever you have Ophiuchus means that's where you exhibit a certain level of mastery, a certain level of spiritual energetic ability. And so knowing this can be really helpful when you're trying to discern, well, is there something I want to teach? Am I a teacher? Am I a guide? Ophiuchus can also represent where we tend to hide. Anyone ever feel like they need to hide? They need to like not show themselves. They need to not turn on their camera. They need to be invisible. That is a very deep Ophiuchus thing. Why? Well, imagine for a moment, you have a great mystical gift. You know secrets that can bring immortality. You know secrets that can transmute energy. You know secrets. Now imagine that the society that we've lived through over the last 1,000 years became a society where it became unsafe to share the knowledge of magic that you possessed, right? Like think the witch hunts. Think the times where people wanted to persecute those who had higher spiritual truths. Does that sound familiar to everyone? Does that kind of hit some bells? Is that kind of waking up some feelings there? Because we all have a place in us, especially if you're watching this, especially if you're into Ophiuchus, where you have felt the pain of persecution in one way or the other, and you have felt the need to hide. And if that's you, I send you so much love and compassion, because that was me for most of my life. For most of my life, I was terrified to be seen. I was terrified to speak. I was terrified to step out into the world and bring my truth. I was absolutely terrified. I know that may seem hard now to see with how much I'm coming out here and sharing this work with you all, but it's true. It's very, very true. Yes. Okay. So Yola just shared, she has her Ophiuchus in the 4th house. And so the 4th house, of course, relates to ancestry. It relates to deep roots. And so your family, if you have Ophiuchus in the 4th house, you might be someone who has ancestral teachers. Maybe you had priests or shamans or guides or teachers in your lineage who were persecuted. And so there might be a little bit of persecution trauma in your family DNA that you need to clear. Right? Anyone else want to share where they have Ophiuchus in their chart? Okay. And I find it really interesting that almost everyone has their camera off today, because Ophiuchus really has a deep fear of being seen. because they've been persecuted. And so there's a tendency with Ophiuchus to hide because it doesn't feel safe. Anyone relate to feeling like you have to friggin' hide your power, you have to hide your spirituality, you have to hide your knowledge, right? Well, that's an Ophiuchus energy. Anyone want to unmute and share about that? Anyone, am I hitting any bells with this? Anyone relate to this? I know it's takes a lot of courage right now to talk about it. But if you do, watch what happens in the next couple months as you start to share this stuff. Yeah. Anyone want to unmute? Come on, ladies. I want you to be brave today. We are breaking through the Ophiuchus bondage. Okay, what is the Ophiuchus bondage? The Ophiuchus bondage is all of the persecution trauma that has caused us to stay hidden and to not speak our truth. So if you're feeling a certain energy that you want to stay silent and you want to hide, that is probably the band or imprint of the Ophiuchus persecution trauma. Okay? And so whatever that is, let's clear that on out today. Let's clear that on out by speaking our truth and sharing our information. Go ahead, Leanne. Let's hear from you.
So I don't have Ophiuchus in my 13 sign sidereal chart, but I resonate so deeply with this energy as, you know, exactly what you were saying, what you have and have been having to go through. It's like when I make a video of myself and I'm trying to promote myself and put myself out there, it is like the darkest, hardest thing because it feels like something ingrained inside of me that I don't know where it's coming from, but I know it's very ancient, is saying, this is not safe. Like, I can't come out like this because it's different. It's hard. It's like you're expressing something that you know a lot of people are not going to resonate with, and you're scared inside because it feels like I've gone through this before. And I have so much Sagittarius in my chart, but no Ophiuchus, so it's really interesting. But I definitely feel like I know I'm supposed to be a teacher and this female leader in this really big role, but I'm at the bottom and it is so scary, and it's so hard to sit and voice yourself and know that it's not what everything and everyone is doing. It's so hard.
Yeah, it is so hard. It's painful, right? It's like agony almost.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that, but I feel like in order to have a really true class today and a really true presentation, I have to be honest, right? Ophiuchus is not a play around and just be gentle. This is the truth, right? This is about initiation. And so I just found your chart, Leanne, and it looks like you have Ophiuchus in your 5th house, which is creativity, which is self-expression, which is joy and fun, right? And it's also performance, right? And so one thing that the 5th house can relate to is performance, right? And sharing yourself, right? And so if you have Ophiuchus in the 5th house, being on camera might be really traumatic. It might really bring up feelings of persecution. And so how do you clear that? Well, today at the end of the class, we're going to do a clearing on Ophiuchus, on the energy of Ophiuchus, to start clearing that out of all of our energy meridians. Because you know what? So many of us have this energy. So many of us are dealing with this. And so you're not alone. And it is time. Ophiuchus is now being brought to the world stage, right? The divine feminine energy, which is another area that Ophiuchus represents, the divine feminine rising into her power. That is what I see Ophiuchus as bringing back to the table. And I'll explain a little bit more as I go on. Thank you, Leanne, for sharing. That was really powerful. Alicia La, did you want to share as well?
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I was having trouble again figuring out the hand, finding the hand. I found it though. I think part of my not feeling like sharing like particularly today is I've just been feeling really heavy today and not feeling, I don't know, as I'm kind of hearing some of these things, I'm kind of just, yeah, I think there's just a lot of heaviness that I'm feeling with this, and I'm not feeling the greatest. So I'm like,
Yeah.
do I want to share now? Or I think just, yeah. So
Totally. Yeah. And I'm really glad you brought that up because I should have sent out a message I should have been like, you know, if you feel triggered before the call, it's probably because of this, this, and this, because
Mhm.
we're tapping into the energy of Ophiuchus, which actually relates to persecution. And it's one of the biggest blockages to people
Mhm.
stepping into their power and stepping into their purpose, actually, because of past life trauma.
Mhm.
I literally started the day clearing my own past life trauma, like super gnarly. And then I picked up a book and that was all about it too. And I'll share a little bit about what I read. I was like, okay, well, we're going to face this, right? Because we want to set an intention for the new moon where we're super clear and excited, right? Like imagine if you no longer had fear of presenting yourself. Imagine if you no longer were afraid to share your truth. Imagine if you could go out into the world freely and feel safe, right? That is the goal of today's class, is to plug us into this intensity, get us shaken, get us quivering, get us feeling the heaviness, and then to clear it. Because we're going to go into it together, and the power of each other and the group is so profound, and the tools we have to clear together are going to unite, and it's just going to be really beautiful. So if you're feeling heavy, just know we're tapping into a collective wound here with Ophiuchus and with the persecution imprint, which is something you can clear. And
Mhm.
so if you're feeling it, there's probably a good chance that you've gone through being a teacher, right? Being a priestess, being a beautiful being of light with knowledge and information. And then what happened? Well, there was a time in our world, many different times, where those of us who spoke the truth and followed our heart were persecuted and wanted to help people. We were trying to help people and we got hurt. And it's so unfair, right? It's just like so deeply unjust and unfair. And so many of us are carrying around this pain around what came before. And that is what Ophiuchus shows in an astrological chart, right? So if you want to start uncovering, okay, where was I a great teacher and guide and healer? And where did I experience some sort of persecution? That's where you'll look in the chart. And you can literally just clear Ophiuchus. If you do energy work or energy clearing, you can just clear it. And that starts to open up a whole new dimension for your energy field. How do I share when I don't feel good? Right?
Well,
Like we're
oh, sorry. I
go
was
ahead,
gonna
go
say
ahead.
the other thing is I think that also because we're talking about, oh, today is a very important day for manifestation, and it's like kind of what is the energy you're carrying forward in the next while. I'm like, am I going to be amplifying this in the next little while? So I've been trying to clear it for myself, but then it's also just, I don't know, it's just kind of staying a little heavy. So I'm
Up
like,
it.
no.
Yeah, no, I had this battle with myself, Alicia, a lot. And what I realized was that it's up in the field because
Mm,
the sun and the moon are in Ophiuchus.
mhm,
We can either rise and meet it. It's going to be coming up no matter what we do. Like whether we had this new moon call or not, the energy and awareness of our gifts and of possibly being persecuted for them was going to be up in the collective field. And I've
mhm,
held back and not done things and then been like, I should have just done it because it's going to be brought up anyways. And we might as well face it head on. And then the power of the group, the power of our intention to transmute it. So we have to keep in mind, okay, this is what we don't want, right? We have all this past trauma with Ophiuchus and expressing our truth. What do we want, right? We have to face what's there. We have to be real. And then we can plant the seeds of, well, that's been the past. And now I want to create a future where Ophiuchus is seen, right? My power, my gift, my magic can be seen safely. I can express myself safely. I can be heard and seen and received so safely now, right? And so we're diving into the issue to then bring the solution. So that's what I invite you to have, is that springboard of like, oh yeah, baby, this heavy, intense energy, we're gonna clear it on out of the planet, not only for us, but probably a lot of people. So this is pretty exciting, pretty powerful, and I'm really glad that you're here. Yeah. This is powerful. And women, we're all women here, right? So we're helping to uplift that power. And I'll go into how Ophiuchus relates to the divine feminine and why it's so amazing that we're all divine feminines here and what we're going to be able to create in our lives as we go forward. So Karen, it looks like you had another thing you wanted to add, please. And thank you, Alicia, for sharing. Thank you. Yeah. Go ahead, Karen.
Yeah, I completely resonate with everything Alicia and Leanne said. 100%. And I want to thank you for in having this and encouraging us, because I definitely feel like there's something in my ancestry I've got to clear around being persecuted for my gifts and
Yeah,
being seen.
yeah, that's huge, right? How many of us as women are being held back by that heaviness? We go to step forward, we go to share our gifts, and we hit something. And we're not being told, we're not in college and high school. They don't say, oh, you could have an ancestral trauma. They don't teach us this stuff, right? And so, how powerful that we can be in a group and in a community where we're all acknowledging this. And what happens when we talk about something and we have so many people being aware is light is awareness. So, awareness is light. So, we're bringing light to these issues that are in our field, that are in our DNA, that are in our energy bodies, that are in our meridians. And simply right now in this moment, we're beginning to bring light into these facets of ourselves. And so, so cool that you're willing and courageous enough to share, because that's where the magic happens. So if at any point today you're like, oh man, this thing is really coming up for me, I'm really noticing this, share it. Because when we share our truth, we heal. We can bring light to that truth. And it's just so beautiful.
Thank you. And I have Ophiuchus in my 4th house.
Okay, just like Yola. So that would, again, yeah, the ancestry and the family line. Right, yeah, you could probably have a family line where there was persecution, and maybe you have a lot of teachers and energy healers, and maybe you had like a priest or priestess in your line, right? And they went through, or an herbalist, or someone who studied medicine, right? So that's really, really powerful. Now you know what area of your chart. So if anyone has questions about what their astrological chart is, where they have Ophiuchus, reach out. We can see if we can find that out for you. Really powerful. Leanne, did you have, and thank you for sharing. Leanne, did you have another question? Are you good? And feel
I'm
free
good.
to
Let me lower my hand.
Okay, feel free to keep your cameras on. It's really awesome when we get to see each other, because then we can have this like conversation, and it actually allows us to start healing on deeper and deeper levels, right? So when we're in that state of focus and concentration, we're energetically bringing energy to the things that are being brought up, right? So it's up to you, but I'm really happy to see your faces. So, all right, we got more to cover here. So Ophiuchus is the guardian of the Galactic Center, right? You remember how I said how December 19th, that is when the sun enters the Galactic Center exactly. It shines its light there, the black holes, okay? So imagine for a minute that all of creation comes from the void, right? All of creation comes from the black. It comes from the yin. So when the sun lines up on December 19th, you have the power to create on such a deep level. It's like you're tapping into the divine mama of the whole galaxy, the whole universe. And so that is why I call Ophiuchus the guardian of the Galactic Center, because the sun is in the last day of Ophiuchus as it touches the Galactic Center, 12 degrees of Ophiuchus. And then after that, we have the solstice. Now, many of you have been hearing me talk about Chiron and the wounded healer. And it's interesting and ironic that Ophiuchus is ruled by Chiron. So the planet that rules Ophiuchus is Chiron, the wounded healer. And this is going to make a lot of sense. And so Chiron was an ancient healer who got wounded and couldn't heal himself. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. So what is Ophiuchus? What is the story behind Ophiuchus? How can we tap into this energy? So one thing I should share with you is that Ophiuchus is related to an element called ether, or quintessence. Has anyone ever heard of quintessence or ether or ether before? Anyone know what that means? Anyone want to share? What is ether? What is quintessence? What is that element? Go ahead and unmute whoever's first.
Ether is space. It's
Mhm.
like kind of like an expression of the void, it feels like, almost if it was an element.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the particles that are between, right? If anyone has ever heard of the Akashic record, they say that all of life, everything that's happened on our planet is stored in the Akashic field. Okay, so Ophiuchus has an incredible gift and power to tap into all the information of creation. What? Yeah. Ophiuchus is ether. So they surf the waves of consciousness. They are tuned in, tapped in, turned on to the information that exists all around us. There's a really good book if you want to kind of study how to put the energy of ether into work in your own life. And it's called The Field. And the field talks about the energy field, the quantum entanglement of our energies and how we're all really one and we're all connected to each other all of the time. Anyone else have anything else they want to share about ether or the quantum field or how we're all kind of able to communicate psychically all the time through this energy that exists through all of creation? I think, Leanne, your hand, I think you already answered. Anyone else? Go ahead, Karen.
Just this short paragraph that describes it. There's a thinking stuff from which all things are made, in which it penetrates, permeates, and fills the interspaces of the universe.
That's right. Yeah.
Mhm.
So ether is everything that is, it connects everything. So ether is what the internet is. You ever heard of Ethernet cables?
Mhm.
Well, I've actually heard that we don't need cables for internet. We just could be utilizing this new age technology of harnessing the ether. Anyways, long story, but that's what we're using when we connect on the internet. We're tapping into the power of the ether. And so Ophiuchus people tend to have a lot of power and skill with the internet, with the online world, with connecting to that energy. So wherever you have Ophiuchus in your chart means you can connect to technology. You can connect to the ether really, really well. Yeah, really powerful. Okay. So go. So we already talked about how Ophiuchus means to hold a serpent, right? And we talked about the power of the serpent. And we talked about how energetically, what does it mean for Ophiuchus to be about holding a serpent? So the way I've perceived Ophiuchus is about mastery. In a way, the snake could be perceived as life force, life energy. It's also called the Kundalini. And so Ophiuchus holding the snake relates to mastering the power of our energy, mastering our energy systems, learning how to take care of our energy channels, right? Becoming a master of our bodies, right? A master of our lower self and higher self. So this is really cool. So I went ahead and I did some research, and Ophiuchus was said to depict the god Apollo wrestling the snake, guarding the Oracle of Delphi. Anyone ever heard of the Oracle of Delphi before? No? Okay. So in ancient times, the Oracle of Delphi was a woman. It was a temple where one woman would be the oracle. And you see over in the left-hand corner, there is a woman sitting on a chair, and she's sitting above a hole in the ground. So the Oracle of Delphi was in a cave, and she would sit in a chair, and these noxious gases actually came up out of the earth here, like methane. And she would get kind of drunk or high off of these gases, and she would chew a laurel or a bay leaf, and she would kind of go into a trance, and she was called the Oracle, and she would channel information. Okay. And so the Oracle of Delphi, it's really interesting because Delphine in Greek means womb, right? Which means womb, very feminine. And so the Oracle of Delphi, in a lot of ways, kind of relates to the channeling of the womb. And she had a very high place in Greek society. The oracle was known as a very high level person in the community. And she would be about age 50, and then she would do her channeling until she passed, and the next woman would take over and do the channeling. And so there was always an oracle giving guidance and advice to the people. According to this information, there was a big snake, a female snake, outside of the cave of Delphi. And in Greek myth, Apollo was said to wrestle the snake and kill it, allowing the Oracle of Delphi to do her work, right? But there's an interesting story here of a masculine killing a female snake. And for thousands of years, the snake has represented the divine feminine force. And so I think it could also represent the patriarchy. It could represent the masculine energy coming in at a certain point in our history and trying to subdue the power of the feminine, right? Trying to subdue the power of the serpent, and sort of speaks to the feminine being perceived as dangerous, right? And then in the Bible, we have the snake being the evil, right? The snake in the garden tempting Adam and Eve to eat the apple of knowledge, right? And so there's always been this sort of focus on the snake being evil or bad, but a snake is also one of God's creatures, right? And so why has there been so much energy put into suppressing the power of the snake, the power of the divine feminine? Okay, why? According to the Suda, Delphi, the Oracle of Delphi, took its name from the Delphine, the she-serpent Dracana, who lived there and was killed by the god Apollo. In other accounts, the serpent was the male serpent Dracon or Python. So there's a little bit of debate here whether the snake that Apollo killed was male or female, okay? It can also speak to us chopping the head off or killing the temptations in our lives. Okay, so on one hand, the snake can represent the divine feminine, the Shakti force. And, you know, some women do belly dance and they dance with snakes, right? The snake kind of moves in a very feminine way, okay? So on one hand, the snake can represent the divine feminine. And so taming the snake means to tame our feminine force, right? To put it into service, right? To put it into service of our mastery. And on the other hand, it can relate to subduing any negative forces in our lives. And there's been so many different ways that snakes have been looked at for thousands of years, so many different ways. And so what do you think when you think about snake? Like, what is there any symbolism? Is there any energy that you pick up on or perceive or sense? Like, what is your relationship to the energy of snake? Like, how does that translate for you personally? Go ahead.
To me, the snake is like stepping into my feminine energy that's been suppressed. Like, I personally have been looking at all of the women in our past that have all these amazing stories, like especially Lilith. She really sits with me, just of these powerful women that for some reason have been suppressed. And the snake to me is like an expression of getting back to that truth, so we can be equal and everyone has a seat at the table. That's kind of how I feel, is the shedding of the snake is coming into equality and stepping into our feminine power and taking away the toxic masculine, going into healthy masculine and stepping out of that feeble feminine to that strong feminine.
Right. Right, because they in the story of the Oracle of Delphi, they put a woman on, like, she's sitting on top of this giant hole in the ground. She doesn't look very powerful, does she? I mean, she's helpless. She's just sitting up there and she's being poisoned by these gases. Whereas before, there was a giant mother she-serpent and who was in charge of the whole cave. But then she was killed. So it's very interesting how this story kind of plays out. Leanne, what do you think about that? I'd love to hear your response to that story.
I think that when I immediately think of this story, I immediately think of it sounds really disempowering, like you're being forced to do something that nobody wants to do. But look at what a shaman is. It's usually
Right.
something somebody else wants to do. But when you overcome and go through that and you accept that that's your purpose in that lifetime, there's actually a lot of power in that. And, you know, it's like, no, it doesn't sound ideal, but most things that are of power don't sound ideal. And when you think of something that you're doing for the greater whole and you're the one doing it, when you're experiencing that, there's actually a lot of oneness, if you will. There's a lot of power in that. And I mean, it's complicated because it does sound like a lot more suffering than other situations, right? But
It's interesting.
yeah, there's a lot of power, I think, in it at the same time.
Yeah, and I just keep looking at this picture in the left-hand corner, right, where she's this lone woman and they've raised her on high, but there's all these men around kind of pulling the strings, right? They're kind of in charge of the situation. And so while she is elevated, she's higher up, she's in a position of power, the men are still sort of dominating her power, kind of in charge of it. And so one thing I want to really challenge you all to start thinking about is how would you remake this scene? How would you remake the power of the oracle? Because in some levels, the oracle represents us, right? It represents us in our power, right? She's up high. She's being raised up. But what would be a healthier dynamic? Maybe, like Leanne said, it would be to be sitting at the same table, man and woman, man and woman, man and woman, not either one raised up above the other, but each of us being mutually respected and respecting each other with our gifts and talents and what we're here to share. And so these stories from Greek mythology offer us a really great chance to look at what we don't want, right? Maybe that's the past way of doing things. Maybe that's the past story that our feminine self went through, where if we did have power, we were still under the control of men, right? We were still dealing with suppression. Whereas now, maybe we want to be in power, but we want to share, right? We want to share. We don't want to be up high. We don't want to be over anyone. We want to connect on a beautiful level. And so here is, ancient Greece, ancient Delphi, beautiful. And so I just want to, say a little prayer here that the history, his story, can change to our story. And we can start to write our story with the divine feminine essence, where we can step into the oracle of our true power without needing to be lifted above, without having to be tamed, without having to be equal than or greater than or lesser than, but equal, right? We can step into a sort of equality with our power. Okay. So this is all related to Ophiuchus, okay? Why did I talk about Apollo and the Oracle of Delphi and the serpent? Like, what am I doing? Where am I going with this? So this is the story of Apollo, and many people say that Ophiuchus, oh, that's so cool, Sophie. I would love to go here sometime. Many people say that Ophiuchus was the child of Apollo, and okay, let me start over. So we have this constellation Ophiuchus. In Greek mythology, Ophiuchus is related to a god in the Greek pantheon called Asclepius. Now, Asclepius was half human and half immortal. According to legend, Asclepius was the son of Apollo, and his mom, check out her name. So the mom of Asclepius was Coronis. Very interesting. And so Asclepius's parents were Apollo and Coronis. Okay, and when did Ophiuchus hit the mass consciousness? Just about 7 years ago. Okay, so this information has been starting to come out to the public all in this sort of connected time period. Okay, so here's Apollo and Coronis. They're getting ready to have their little baby Asclepius. but it's a Greek myth, so there's quite a bit of tragedy. Coronis dies, and Asclepius is taken as a boy to go work with Chiron, the wounded healer. And so Asclepius was raised by Chiron, the wounded healer, in astrology. What? So Chiron was the great healer. Are you seeing the connection between Ophiuchus and Chiron now? Are you starting to see it? Yeah. So Chiron basically raised Asclepius, and Asclepius is the person, the being that they relate the constellation of Ophiuchus to. So the story of Ophiuchus in Greek mythology relates directly back to Asclepius, a half man, half immortal, the son of the sun god, and the mother Coronis. Yeah, go ahead, Sophie.
I don't want to interrupt you, Lotus, but
No, you're fine.
like every time I hear Asclepius,
Yeah.
like here in Germany, like every pharmacy has the sign of the two snakes. Is it the same in the US with the like the two snakes? So it's like it represents the like big pharma. So that's
right.
also crazy, like the pharma industry.
That's right. That's right. And it also, one of the symbols for big pharma is a cross. I don't know if you all knew that.
Yeah.
Actually a cross. And Apollo, one of the earliest symbols for the sun, is a cross with a circle around it. And so Apollo was the father of Asclepius. And then the modern day pharma is the cross, okay? And so son of the sun, is this reminding anyone of any other spiritual teacher, the son of the sun? Right? God.
Jesus.
God. Yeah, of Jesus. So we'll get into that a little bit more with this right now. But right on, Sophie, yes, this does deeply relate to one of the symbols that Asclepius has is of the, what is it? The two snakes. Just went out of my, what is that word? Went out of my brain. Okay. So who,
It's the two snakes.
we'll get it. It's the word, it's the symbol for the National Medical Association here in the US as well. And so Asclepius got raised, and this is really trippy, Sophie, because Asclepius was raised by Chiron. Okay. So Asclepius learned all the medicine, all of the healing that Chiron could share with him, which we all know Chiron was the master healer. And so Asclepius grew up and he became a great healer. In fact, he became such a great healer that there were temples of him all over the land. And he represents the healing aspect of the medical arts. Okay. And there's a story here. So, where is it? Yeah. So Asclepius was the son of Apollo and Coronis, and let's see, was educated by Chiron the centaur. His medical career began when one day, while visiting a friend, he saw a snake in a room and killed it. To the great surprise of both Asclepius and his friend, a second snake slithered into the room and gave an herb to the first snake, which was immediately revived from the dead. What? Asclepius took the herb from the snake and learned the great curative and restorative powers certain herbs and plants have over life and death. He traveled throughout the known world healing people and learning more about the medicinal uses of herbs. In time, his reputation as a physician had become widely known. So Asclepius became such a good healer that the god of the underworld, Hades, complained to his brother Zeus, the king of the gods, that fewer and fewer souls were being sent down to the underworld, which was where mortals went after death. Asclepius is said to have brought many people back. And just as Asclepius was about to bring Orion back to life, Hades' patience ran out and he demanded that Zeus put a stop to these resurrections. So Zeus agreed with his brother and killed Asclepius with a lightning bolt. Zeus, of course, was a little bit embarrassed when he realized that Asclepius had many admirable skills. He raised him to the heavens as Ophiuchus, along with the serpent Serpines that started his career. So according to legend, the serpent represents that power of immortality that Asclepius discovered, right? When he met the snake and he was able to he saw the snake use the power of herbs to bring people back from the dead. So imagine for a moment, is there another mythos where someone was able to come back from the dead? Go ahead, Karen.
Oh, no, I was just my face was itching there. I don't really know.
So
Was
who
it-
else? Who else in mythology has been brought back from the dead?
Was it Psyche? Was it Psyche? And
It was Jesus, right?
oh,
So Jesus achieved immortality, right? And he rose from the dead, right? So there's been a lot of ties between Ophiuchus, Asclepius, and the 13th sign of Ophiuchus. So another interesting thing is that Asclepius had daughters before he passed, namely a daughter named Hygeia, who is said to represent health and healthiness in the world. And he also carried a rod called the caduceus. So the caduceus is the symbol of medicine today. So this is what all doctors and nurses and pharmacists, you'll see the caduceus everywhere. And so this is, this is the caduceus, and you'll see it everywhere. It's supposedly what Asclepius used, walking through life, doing healing work on people. And he's also mentioned in the Hippocratic Oath. So you all heard of the Hippocratic Oath before? Okay. I swear by Apollo the physician, and Asclepius, and Hygeia, his daughters, and all the gods and goddesses, that according to my ability and judgment, I will keep this oath and this stipulation. There's a whole lot more. I'm not going to read it all, but Asclepius is mentioned in the very first sentence of the Hippocratic Oath. Is that pretty wild? Yeah. And so Hippocrates said, a physician without a knowledge of astrology has no right to call himself a physician. Okay, so the creator of the Hippocratic Oath that we use to this day that mentions Asclepius, Hippocrates, who wrote this oath, says a physician without a knowledge of astrology has no right to call himself a physician. So are you seeing the ties between Asclepius, Ophiuchus, and health? Right? Very deep, and about the power of immortality as represented by the snake. That on his path of learning medicine, he was able to discover that the snake was able to bring life, was able to bring immortality to those who were sick. So one of the things the snake represents is immortality. My mind. Yeah, Leanne, you want to share? I'd love to hear from you all. That's a lot to take in. Yeah, go ahead.
I am still processing because it's like, for me, history is such a dense thing, but I will say what really struck a chord and sat with me is that through my own journey, I am seeing that there's a lot of truth. If you are stepping into the healing process, if you don't know all the pieces, like what you're teaching, for example, you're lacking on a big chance to fully heal. Like astrology gives you a piece to fully implement your healing journey. It's not just a physical healing journey. And so I think what I'm finding out is that all of these, all of this history, which is so much to process, but it is so incredibly valuable and has so much. If you can look between the cracks and really take it in, it is so powerful because there's a lot of truth. Just like the Bible, there's a lot of things in there, but it's a lot to process. And I think that you know, when you have someone like you laying it all out and you've put so much time into it all to weave it together, you sit with it all and you can really take it in and be like, wow, like I'm in a state of wow right now because my mind is blown. Like this was really, really good information to just feel so grounded in why everything is in the state of how does healing happen and how does astrology come into play and what the background that is piecing it all together. I mean, it's just the stories are just, it's incredible. I didn't know that. I can't even say his name, but Apollo raised by Chiron. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, the son of the sun.
Yeah,
Because Apollo represents the sun.
All of this is amazing. Like just it's sitting to a point where I know I'm going to be processing for a hot minute.
Yeah. Yeah, this is deep stuff. This is deep stuff. And I think the relationship between Ophiuchus and Chiron is really interesting and intriguing as well, because Chiron was the teacher of Asclepius, and Asclepius is the story and the being and the person related to Ophiuchus, okay, in mythology. Now, another thing I found as I was exploring all of this and trying to get you the answers, and here's Asclepius doing his healing work, was that Asclepius had a daughter. Asclepius had a daughter named Hygeia. And here we have this amazing picture of Hygeia with the snake. So let me make that a little clearer. Move this one. These are her other sisters of health and healing. So here she is. Here's his daughter using a snake. And so one of the things they talk about with the snake and with medicine and with healing is that Ophiuchus represents and Asclepius represents the way in which things can be poisonous or they can be healing, right? So the things that can heal us can sometimes be poisonous, and the things that are poisonous can sometimes heal us. And so Asclepius energy really speaks to the polarity of healing, right? That it's not black and white, but really it's vibrational, right? Sometimes you need something that might not be a good thing. Like for instance, there's an herb that you can take if you're having a heart attack, that if you took when you weren't having a heart attack would kill you, right? And so it really speaks to the energetics of the right medicine for the right issue. So wherever you have Ophiuchus can relate to you having special talent and ability with healing. So you can look in your chart at Chiron, and you can look at Ophiuchus to see, okay, where am I a great healer? What area of my life do I have superpowers? Right? Because Ophiuchus, related to Asclepius, was a great healer. He knew how to use medicine to heal. He knew how to use things that could be poisonous, like a snake venom, to heal. Wow. Yeah, both of them. Both of them have similar vibrations because Ophiuchus can have the persecution trauma, kind of more specifically. And Chiron just has that wound, and it could be anything. Could be anything. And they're both wounds, but they're a little slightly different garden variety, right? One's a peach and one's a nectarine, right? Like they're just a little different. But they're both together. They're both connected because Chiron was the teacher of Asclepius, which means the teacher of Ophiuchus. A very deep connection there. All right, so it can also relate to having knowledge around herbology, medicine, the healing arts, wherever you have Ophiuchus in your chart, wherever you have Chiron in your chart, it's going to relate to the healing arts and your ability to heal yourself and to heal others. There are all kinds of, interesting things Asclepius was able to do. He's also related to the personage of Imhotep in ancient Egyptian astrology. So in Greek mythology, Ophiuchus relates to Asclepius, And in ancient Egyptian astrology, Ophiuchus relates to Imhotep, who was one of the first surgeons, right? You've probably heard that ancient Egypt had incredible advanced medical knowledge. Imhotep wrote one of the first treatises about how to heal the body in a very practical, realistic way. Up until that point, there'd been a lot of kind of magical cures, or you can drink this potion or this elixir. But Imhotep really created that first template of physical healing, of like real mathematical, scientific, physiological ways of healing that even doctors today look at and are really awestruck by the power of healing that he could bring forth for people. Okay, so really what all this energy is about bringing illumination. And so wherever you have Ophiuchus or you have Chiron in your chart is going to speak to an arena or place or an area that you can bring illumination to. Okay, we love you, Sophie. Do you have anything you want to share before you jump off? My guess is you're already gone, but sending you big love. She's in Germany right now, so it's probably really late. Okay, so that leads us to there's a gift that I want to share with you all. It's a flower essence, and it's called Hesperide's Gift. And this is so perfect because Hesperide is the name for the daughters of Asclepius. Remember how I said he had a daughter named Hygeia, and Hygeia relates to the energy of healing in the Greek mythology. And Hesperide relates to the name of her three sisters, all of the three healers. And Hesperide's Gifts is a healing flower essence that was created for us healers on the planet. It's a powerful and timely mix for healers that are feeling weary, beleaguered, burnt out, or in need of more support. Healers are on the front lines of grounding the higher vibrations manifesting on Earth. They help others through these vibrations, even as they face the challenge of doing this for themselves. When there is a vibrational push on the planet, as there is right now, healers feel this the most. We offer this mix as support to all those who hold their light up in the world and help others to do so as well. And this is from the company Green Hope Farms. And this company is just absolutely phenomenal. I can't recommend it enough. If you are a healer, if you're on the front lines doing healing for people, I highly recommend purchasing it. It's really, really powerful. Okay. Any questions? You know, we just went through a lot of information.
I don't have a question, but I found something that speaks to the serpent being in the south of the definition of Ophiuchus. It says is depicted by a man, which you said is in dispute, could be a woman grasping a serpent. And the interposition of his body divides the snake constellation serpents into two parts. So serpent's caput and serpent's cauda. Ophiuchus straddles the equator with the majority of its area lying in the southern atmosphere.
Wow.
Maybe that's why the shamans took it on as the spirit animal of the south.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So that whole idea of, is it a man or is it a woman? We've just looked at one level of Asclepius being this relation to the healer concept. Well, another way to look at it relates to this idea, which says the original symbol and constellation of Ophiuchus was a woman wrestling with a giant serpent. The symbol used in the medical field today, the caduceus, belongs to the constellation of Ophiuchus. The serpent bearer, the energy of the snake, is used as a symbol of healing throughout many cultures all around the world. And it's kind of this idea that the serpent wisdom is really goddess wisdom. It's really wisdom from the womb. But how do we tie this all together? Because we have both men and women on the planet, and we have both masculine and feminine energy. No one of us is just man or just woman, right? So one way is to think about the balanced relationship between men and women. And when you look at the caduceus, it's two snakes, isn't it? Yeah. So remember how I said that the element for Ophiuchus is ether? Yeah. Well, I found a video clip that's going to tie together my next couple of points for you all to bring home this idea that what the Caduceus represents and what real healing represents and what Ophiuchus really represents is not being talked about really at all. And it doesn't have to do with a man or a woman. It has to do with the mixing and blending of the man and the woman, and what is called the Heros Gamos, or divine marriage. And that is actually the sacred, most ancient secret of all of humanity, is the knowledge of how to utilize the base sexual energy, which could represent the serpent, to raise the energy of the serpent energy up the spine, Kundalini rising, to create enlightenment. And so many people say that actually Jesus and Mary Magdalene were twin flames or soulmates that were trained in ancient mystery schools how to unite their energy to create divine union, divine enlightenment, divine oneness. And that really is what Ophiuchus represents, is the knowledge of our ancient ability, known in many mystery schools, of how to transcend our physicality, our dense motor, material realm energy self, and actually achieve enlightenment. So here's a really fun clip that illustrates this. I hope maybe y'all have seen The Fifth Element before. So hold on to your seats. This is fun. This is exciting. And it will be a really good way to sort of illustrate the quality of ether and bring home this idea that I just kind of unearthed for you all, which is it's pretty edgy. It's pretty pushing the envelope of what is talked about out there when we talk about Ophiuchus, but it ties everything together. When we kind of have had this, like, okay, is it related to a man? Is it related to a woman? What is Ophiuchus, right? What is the sacred energy? It's about both. All right, so here we go. Right?
So what happens
Fire,
now?
earth,
So now
air,
we
water.
have to open them.
But there's more, isn't there? It's not just the
And you know how
four.
to do that, right? Theoretically? No.
Okay, and there's
Lilo,
Lilu.
wake up, buddy, wake up. You have to
Lilo
help
in
us.
the fifth element
Lilo,
is a
how do
divine
you open
being
these stones?
who's here to save the earth. That's her job. She came back to save the planet. She's a guardian.
But how do you open these stones?
She's a guardian of the earth. Kind of like a higher race.
Lilo, Lilo. What does it mean?
I think that, maybe it's a charade.
What?
A game or something.
If we don't get these stones open in 5 minutes, we're all dead.
Dead?
Yes, dead.
Too late.
We've lost contact with him.
3 minutes.
Think mine is broken, huh? Well, I gotta get the broken.
We're never gonna make it. Corbin! Corbin, it moved! What'd you do? Show me what you did!
Nothing.
Show me what you did!
Shut up!
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Calm down! Calm down! Just show me what you did. Take me to a step by step.
All right, I was just standing here like this. Okay, and I put my hands on the top like this, and I said, we're not gonna make it.
And that's it.
Well, what?
Come on, baby.
Wind. You said wind blows. Everyone take a stone. Water for water, fire for fire, earth for earth. Go, now.
Earth. Open the other way.
Okay. Corbin? Corbin, my man? I have no fire. I have no matches. I see nothing matches. I have no matches. I saw smoke in it. If I knew, Father, you smoke. We need some matches. We need some fire. We gonna die.
1 minute.
Let's go. Let's go. Lulu, wake up. Wake up. It's time for you to work now.
Protect life. Until death.
No, Lulu, listen to me. Listen. I know you're very tired. I'll take you on a vacation when we're done. I swear, a real vacation, just you and me. But listen to me, if you don't do something right now, we're all gonna die. You understand?
What's the use of saving life when you see what you do with it?
It'll be entering the atmosphere in 40 seconds.
Lulu, you're right. But there are some things, very nice things worth saving, some beautiful things.
Like love.
Yes, love. That's good. That's a good example. Like love. Love is worth saving.
I don't know love. I was built to protect, not to love. So there's no use for me other than this.
No, you're wrong. I need you very much.
Why?
Because.
Tell her, Colin.
Please, do you need me?
Because.
To know me.
Because I love you.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Scanner imaging has confirmed the dark planet dead.
The planet seems to have stopped at 62 miles from impact.
Yes!
Because Ophiuchus represents the ether element. Okay? 2, right? We just started talking about how Ophiuchus represents, to me, actually the Caduceus, the 2 snakes, the divine union between the masculine and the feminine. Okay, it represents an energetic, sacred knowledge practice. Some people call it tantric practices, where you are able to ignite, you utilize the sexual energy, and in a loving container between you and your partner, practice ancient knowledge techniques to slowly and lovingly raise your sexual energy up to your heart, up to your throat, up to your third eye, up to your crown, and higher. And that was actually what allowed Jesus to become enlightened, was the practices that he learned with Mary Magdalene. What? Yeah. Supposedly, Mary Magdalene was actually a member of the church. And after Jesus passed, she was in charge of the church. And they found this through looking at ancient texts, ancient portions of the Bible that weren't included in the main Bible. And so what Ophiuchus is all about is bringing back the awareness of the divine unity between the masculine and the feminine. That Mary Magdalene actually sat at the table with Christ. Some say that this is Mary Magdalene sitting to the left of Jesus at the Last Supper. And that she was his equal, she was his partner. That the church wasn't just a man. The formation of Christianity wasn't just a man, it was a man and a woman together. And this plays out in many different ancient communities, like in ancient Guatemala. All of the shamans in Guatemala are man and wife. They don't do healing work unless as a couple. And so This can relate to the power of male and female uniting, the two snakes, the two caduceus, uniting our power to transcend physical reality, physical limitation, and to ascend. And so Ophiuchus relates to the divine mastery, the sacred secret knowledge of tantric practices of raising the kundalini. Now, you can't do it without love. I think a lot of people come to tantric practices, sacred sexuality, and they think, I'm going to raise my energy and become enlightened. And as powerful as those practices are, I'm under the impression that the only way to do it is through the heart and with love. And just like the hearts of Mary Magdalene and Jesus are illuminated here, I think it requires love to achieve what is called Hieros Gamos, or the divine marriage. And you can look this up, Hieros Gamos, Hieros Gamos, and it relates to the divine marriage. It's really beautiful, isn't it? Yeah, and that's why I think we're so drawn to Ophiuchus, right? Because I think that on a soul level, we may have trauma around knowing the potential and power we have to connect with the masculine energy, the divine feminine masculine, and ascend. And yet it's not being taught. It's not being taught. And so we feel, I think all of us can relate, a divine yearning for something greater, a divine yearning for something bigger. And yet we are struggling to find it. And I think Ophiuchus points us to that sacred knowledge that we hold within us, to the possibility of becoming immortal, right? Just like the snake with Asclepius taught Asclepius how to bring people back from the dead. I think that the power of the divine feminine and masculine and the divine marriage can create enlightenment. And I think that that is what Ophiuchus is bringing our awareness back to, is that divine balance. Anyone want to care to unmute and share this revelation that I'm bringing across that is pretty profound, pretty unusual? Takes a lot of courage to stand here and share this with you, because it's not necessarily proven anywhere. But over my time and research and what I've come across, it seems more and more valid that caduceus and that energy of healing relates to a deep mystical union between the divine feminine and masculine, because Asclepius relates to Jesus on so many levels. And then they say, well, it was a woman taming the snake. And I'm like, why? It should be a man and a woman taming the snake, right? It should be the both of the man and woman. We're not one or the other, we're both, right? And we exist in partnerships typically on this planet. Go ahead, Leanne.
So I've been ironically getting into this in my own way for the past few months, and I think that the point of suppression of inequality that's been played out in the toxic masculine is the point that it's not about one being better than the other, or that one's more powerful than the other, because that's a huge thing, is everyone's like, women are more powerful, but we just hold a different energy when we're both in balance, right? Like, what you're saying is, it makes so much sense to me, because it's for us to all be our best. The ideal thought is we're all the same, we're all the same exact energy, we're all one. Like, there is no gender identity. Maybe like this lifetime there is, right, for some of us, but it's that's not, next lifetime, you could be the complete opposite. You can't take in the fact that gender is something that is an expression of who's better, who's more powerful, who holds this. But I think that the point is of what you're expressing, and why also too there's not truth out there, is because the power of us coming into our power is union, and union is an expression of being equal to the counterparts. And we live in such a competitive, toxic masculine world, and it feels like to get that balance back, we need to go in this severe feminine that could turn into toxic feminine, right? Because we want to just take our power back so much that it could be really unequal, fight to get it back. But the expression of it, when I mean, we look at relationships, how I'm recognizing this is we look at relationships wrong. especially sexual partnership relationships. I'm recognizing that in myself and everyone I see around is we look at them with the lower base chakras where we want security, we want safety, we want this sexual magnetic attraction, but we don't think about what is it. And that's the whole complicated thing. So I really commend you for approaching this topic because the things that are covered up that we're exploring and being exposed to or just thinking about, it's like, yes, it's unknown, but when you tap into yourself, you will know, because when you tap into that energy and you practice these things, you start to realize, oh, this is the truth, but it's just not out there. So I really appreciate you expressing this because it's so validating when you do walk down this path of just exploring yourself and just seeing what healthy relationships are and all dynamics. Like this is powerful. Thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome. And I'm so glad that you get to be here to witness it. I can't even tell you, like I was building something, creating this for you all. And it's like last night, like it all came through and the awarenesses of like, oh my God, Ophiuchus is not just about a man holding a snake, and it's not just about a woman holding a snake, but it's about the divine union of the masculine and the feminine. And that's why there's two snakes in the caduceus. And I feel like it's what has been missing from our healthcare system, from our living, like our life system, is this union of the divine feminine and masculine, how it has the power to enlighten us and actually to perhaps even bring immortality. And I think that's what these stories and these mythologies are pointing to, is that we have a great power that we're not really being taught about. And Ophiuchus is helping to pull the veil off of our eyes and bring awareness, because those that have eyes will see, and those that have ears will hear, and the information will start to get out there more and more and more. Yes. So did you want to share something, Karen?
Yeah, what's coming to me is that being a former gymnastic coach, it amazes me that snakes can move in the ways they do without legs, and women have had to move in similar ways with our suppression. We've had to walk in the shadows and just navigate the world however and whenever and wherever we could to try to keep as much of our power as we can and keep it from being taken away from us, and to be equal. And yeah, that's what I'm feeling the snake represents in some ways, partially.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I keep looking at this picture and how, it's the balance, the lunar, the moon, and the solar, the sun, and then the center is a goblet. And for thousands of years, what has represented a goblet more than a woman's womb, right? And if you think about our capacity to create, and what is the balanced role of the masculine and feminine? And in the movie, The Da Vinci Code, I don't know if you ever saw it, it's a really great movie. They basically reveal that the Holy Grail was not a thing. It was the womb of the descendants of Jesus, because some people say that Jesus actually married Mary Magdalene, that they had offspring, and that their offspring actually created much of the European royal line. Pretty wild. And so in the Da Vinci Code, they basically hypothesized that the goblet, the Holy Grail, was actually representative of the Holy Womb, right? And so it relates back to our reproductive power, our power to create new life. And imagine if you created new life with an enlightened other, right? Like Jesus and Mary Magdalene, who probably spent, how many years did he spend in India and in Egypt learning sacred mystery practices to evolve his energy, right? Practicing meditation, practicing energy transmutation. And so that's why I bring this up, because Ophiuchus is all about that. It's all about the ancient mysteries. It's all about the ancient practices that are in our DNA, that are in our memory, that are in the ether of the collective energy field. And so Ophiuchus energy with the new moon here really asks us to not only learn new information, not only follow and gain new information from others like we're doing today, not only to go deep and reveal the truth on so many levels, but to begin to listen and trust and allow your own antenna to begin to receive the information and knowledge from the ether around us. I mean, you've probably noticed the phenomenon of dogs knowing before their owners get home. You've probably known the phenomenon of your phone ringing and knowing who's on the phone before you answer it, or thinking about someone and that person calls you. What is that, right? That is a really great illustration of the ether and energy and quantum entanglement and the idea that we are all connected to a field of consciousness. And from that field, we can learn, receive, and gain information to assist us on our forward journey. We may not always know what or how or when, but it comes through when we listen, we open, and we allow. And those are the key three elements of really becoming more psychic, more intuitive, more aware. And everyone has this ability because there is a source field, an ether, where all of the information is. It just exists. And so really we just have to open, allow, and receive that which we're seeking, because that which we're seeking is also seeking us. Wow.
Beautiful. That was beautiful, Lotus.
Yeah. And so when we just tune into that, we can allow the guidance to come through. And that's really what Ophiuchus to me is about, is balancing our masculine and feminine energies and allowing the sacred knowledge and ancient mystery practices of illumination, ascendance, and perhaps even immortality to be brought forward to the people, right? It's this idea that there is sacred knowledge that has been hidden from us, and we feel it, we know it.
And I think it's almost, it's inevitable that it's coming back out, because, you know, like the toxic masculine that Leanne was talking about, and the suppression of women. But here it was this symbol of the two snakes, right, you know, right there, in all the medical world, and chiropractors and everything use it. And, you know, the balance of, you know, one male and one female. The feminine energy is bound to come back no matter what they try to do to squash it. It's not going to happen.
It's like the yin yang. I mean, feminine men have feminine energy too. So when they suppress us, they also suppress themselves.
Yeah.
When we suppress men, we also suppress ourselves. And so it's really beautiful envisioning harmony between men and women, calling in balance, calling in healing for us all. All right. So I found that clip and I felt like, what more powerfully shows the power of love, right? What is Akasha? What is space? What does it more represent really than the power of love and the divine union between the masculine and feminine energies, and that love creating the power, the energy, and the light to literally transform any blockage or challenge and to illuminate difficulties and challenges. And so, wow. So there she was, the fifth element. She was the missing piece to all the other four. And what allowed her to tap into her fifth element, her Akash ether energy, was love. And so maybe the secret to all of this, to what Ophiuchus represents, to what all of this is leading us to, is love. The power of love. The power of love to clear all the obstacles and to illuminate our ancient secret soul powers. And so I want to thank you all for joining me today. Thank you for this session. I'm curious to hear from everyone. What did you think seeing that video? Did that help you? Did that kind of tie things together, thinking about the energy of divine union, Hieros Gamos, the power of the fifth element to bring in total healing, right? The power of ascension, the power of enlightenment that perhaps can really be achieved between the power of a man and woman coming together. Ancient, secret knowledge that we're not being taught. There are practices and there are things that have to be done to create this. We can't just take raw sexual energy and turn it into illuminated ascension transcendence. There are actually physical practices and processes, and that's what Ophiuchus, the domain of Ophiuchus, are all of the secret processes and practices being taught for thousands of years in ancient mystery schools that allow men and women to ascend, to choose immortality, to ascend beyond duality, to ascend beyond the challenges of this world. I'd love to hear anyone want to share feedback, thoughts, feelings, awarenesses, anything you'd like to share here at the beginning of the close of tonight. Feel free to unmute. Yeah, go ahead, Leah.
Yeah, the video is interesting. I'm not an action movie person, so it was like, I get the basis of it, but just the way you talked about everything really hit home for me, to be honest. Like, you clearly have a heavy background in this and you know how to portray it, and you're overcoming so many fears yourself, being, putting yourself out here and just illuminating this darkness that hasn't been illuminated for so long. I feel really empowered. I mean, just like anything you teach, I always feel so empowered and so grateful to be able to just be a part of this. And I think that as far as I know, people I talk to about this, every time I do, I'm just like, oh man, I wish I had a book. I wish I had more to offer, right? So when you said you have this book and you're working on it, I'm like, thank the Lord, because we need it. I can only explain to the degree that I can, where you're like a trailblazer and something that really needs to be taught. And, showing up here, I was really wanting to go into the energy of what's going on right now, because I can deeply feel it. And you're giving a lot of guidance on how to navigate it a little bit better. There's a lot of fear for me right now going into all of this. It is a lot, and I can feel the change more than I have in a very long time, and it's intense. And so with what you expressed, I feel actually super empowered. I'm really looking forward to thinking about what I can manifest, and I hope that everyone here listening feels the same way, because I mean, why would you not want to feel empowered and change, right? When you have the opportunity and you have someone holding your hand literally to give you that. I mean, it's just incredible. So deeply from the very depths of my soul and my heart, I just want to say thank you. You're giving me so much to really sit with and to just feel so grateful for. And I'm really looking forward to going into the darkness more than I usually am, because of the light you shone ahead. So thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome, Leanne. It's always so lovely to have you join us on these learning adventures, because that's really what they are. And I also want to give you an option. So you're welcome. We can end the call now, and you can enjoy the replay. Or if you would like to stay on for a bonus energy clearing process, I'm going to stick on and I'm going to do a clearing around our dreams coming true, right? And we're going to just test what needs to be cleared for us all from today's work and what we dove into. So what I would like to do, if you do want to stay on, I would like to take 10 minutes and, just have bathroom, snack, whatever, and then we'll come back and we'll just clear some stuff. We'll clear some energy so that you can go into your new moon light and free. Because I know today was a really intense topic. So I was like, I can't just bring all this up and not do a clearing. So whoever wants to stay.
I just wanted to also say to you that I very much enjoyed this class, and even though I am not able to participate because I'm only in the audio and listening mode, now I was able to get on for a sec. So I was gonna say to you that I know for a reason why I'm so incredibly fascinated from the first time I've heard about it. It's almost like this energy that I can't explain, like something about it. Every time I hear the word, and then now we went deeper, and so many elements, including the word immortality, including the divine masculine meeting the divine feminine and creating something extraordinary unbelievable. These are the things that I truly, in my heart, I am so incredibly attracted to. And like, this talks to me like nobody's business. So I never imagined that that could be Ophiuchus. So this is a really cool angle to looking at this dark, supposedly, you know, like all mysterious and heavy energy. Now we're talking about something so very special. So even though remember, I'm the newborn to this world, right? Still newborn, right? Maybe not newborn now, maybe kindergarten, but it's still on the border of fantasy for me, especially when you bring the legends and bring mythology and all that stuff. But it beautifully helps understanding certain concepts and whatever. But the idea behind it, like how can you argue with love being the most important thing in the world? How can you argue with the energy, power of the energy? So thank you very much. I enjoyed it, and I will stick. I'm driving again, as always, at this hour. So I won't be able to do any, you know, muscle testing. Please do it for me. I love you so much. Thank you.
Oh, this is great. Yeah, it's really amazing how Ophiuchus is this dark, scary thing, right? But when you unpack it and you peel off the suppression and the trauma and the secrets and the fear, it comes down to something so beautiful. And that's why I'm so passionate about getting this information to you all, because it isn't what we think. It's not this dark, heavy thing. It's the suppression of the truth that's dark and heavy. And as we peel off the suppression of the truth, do you feel how light it becomes? How beautiful, right? And it's really just the pain of having our truth suppressed that's so beautiful, having God's light in us suppressed for many lifetimes that feels so heavy. When the truth is light, it's always light. And so I know we had to go through the dark, heavy passageway to get here. So thank you for walking through the corridor of fear. But as I said in the beginning, once you get to the other side, it's truly beautiful. It's truly divine. Angels singing and trumpets and all that. So, does anyone have to get off, or is everyone going to stay for our bonus healing session? Go ahead, Karen.
I'm going to stay on. I just wanted to thank you too. And when I see these things, it's so many synchronicities at once, because I saw this movie before and I absolutely loved it the first time. And like, it's talking about the fifth element, and this movie has every element in it. It has drama and action and humor, and I think people, you know, directors and people that are gifted with sharing stories, they get these divine downloads because it helps the whole human race. And here's Bruce Willis sharing his love that's going to save the world, and now he's suffering with dementia. And I just saw a video last week of his daughter interacting with him, and he was kind of sitting staring off into the distance, and then his daughter made face contact with him, and you could just see his eyes light up and his face light up. So even she's getting through the clouded mind with her love. And
That's
it's just
right.
circle of life, and that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah. That movie with all the elements, and then the love being the final key ingredient at the last minute, when it's down to the wire, you think it's over, total destruction. And at that moment, it was the love between two people that healed the whole planet. And I truly feel that bringing harmony between men and women, and bringing balance to men and women, and bringing back the divine love and respect of each other is really what's going to heal the planet, because we bring forth our children, and the children take on all the pain of the mother and father. So when we bring in a balanced, healthy relationship, and then we give birth to a balanced, healthy baby, we are healing the world one family at a time, one child at a time, with the love and honor that men and women give to each other. And I think it's really important, really valuable, and I think a bit mystical as well, as we saw here with the power of Ophiuchus, and perhaps some sacred knowledge that couples can learn to evolve their sexual energy into the higher energy centers. And who knows what we've been learning about tapping could potentially do around sexuality and connection between men and women. So that's a whole nother topic. But go ahead and everyone take. I just love and appreciate you all so much. This is such a great group of women, and I'm not surprised that no men joined us because today we really needed that space to go into that container and explore some of that frustration and some of that old energy and get it out of the collective, of ourselves and out of the collective, so we could come back to balance and harmony, because that's what we want. That's what we desire. That's the truth. So please take 10 minutes and do what you need to do, drink, feed, bathroom, rest, stretch, and we'll be back here and we'll do a clearing for the highest and best outcome for all of us for this new moon, for tapping into our power, for claiming our truth, and charging forwards with love and joy in our individual lives, in our partnerships, our relationships, and in the world. Okay? All right, awesome. I love you all. So see you here. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying thank you.
Yeah, I'm super pumped you're here. I love sharing all this information with everyone. It's so much fun. Thank you. Karen, did you have something?
No, I was just gonna say aho.
Aho, yeah. Aho, mitaki, awesome. Yeah. All right, my beautiful friends, I'll be back in 10. So that is 10 minutes. 5:52, 6:02. See you back on the dance floor, as they say. So this is the new moon, right? So it's the most powerful time for manifestation. And so it's a really, oh, wow, I didn't show you this yet. So I was just researching around on the internet last night, and I came across 3 levels of sacred marriage, the pathway to crystal consciousness. Right, so you can Google that. Level 1, and this is probably from some sort of energy clearing practice for couples. Level 1, building wings. This helps you get to the 6th dimension and 7th dimension. Level 2, the crystal lotus heart, gets you to the 8th dimension and 9th dimension. And level 3, the Hero's Gamos, the Christos hydroplasmic light. Now, this is pretty far out stuff, right? I'm not necessarily advise you to go do all of this, but here's an image on the right of the Hero's Gamos, and it has the Caduceus, it has the 2 snakes, it's the chakra system, and it's a man and a woman brought together as one. So what happens when our energy, so this is very interesting. Did you know that women's energy centers spin opposite from men? So when we walk in a room with men, we automatically attract, our chakras attract to their chakras. Yeah. So I've actually noticed that just talking to a man can affect how my body smells. Because what I've realized is that as soon as my energy field gets, goes near a man, it affects my energy centers because they're opposite to us. And I've noticed that the right guy for me, I always smell very good with. And the wrong guy, I always smell like there's like a warning odor. It's hilarious. I've just sat back and been in awe of my body system. It's like got an alarm system. No, yes. Hilarious. So something to pay attention to, because pheromones tell us a lot. But on a deeper level, men affect our energy centers. And women affect men's in the same way. So if you see this picture here of the man and woman united, doesn't it make sense that if our chakras are opposite, they were meant to come together? Yeah. So what are the ancient practices and techniques then becomes the question to engage the Hero's Gamos, to engage the inner marriage and the outer marriage of our energy centers of both the inner yin and yang, and then the outer yin to yang with our partners, or yang to yin, whatever that may be. Yeah, really interesting stuff. Leanne, I think you had your hand raised and I just kept talking. So did you have a question or something you wanted to share?
It was more of a comment of just when you mentioned the opposite energy centers, I was actually just learning, and I don't know what to believe yet, because I feel like it's something I have to practice and see, but the energy centers of men, I've read that they're the same, except for when you get to the crown chakra, then it spins the opposite.
Okay.
So just interesting, wanted to put it out there as just a thought.
Yeah, well, I know something is opposite, whether it's one thing or all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also heard another difference beyond that. So I think there's probably more than one difference, is that men ground through their root chakra, whereas women actually ground through their sacral chakra. And let me know if that feels like a yeah for you. Like that makes total sense because sacral is water and emotion. So women tend to be better at grounding in water as a general rule, like giving birth in water, all those things relating to water, because that's how we ground. Men ground through their root chakra. So they're a bit more stable and solid and earthy in general, as a general rule. Not always, but a general rule. Yeah. Okay, cool. So here's what I was thinking. This is my vision for us, the next layer and level. Oh, cool. There's some stars up there in the sky, and we've got a man and a woman. We got the infinity symbol. This is a great slide for right now. So now we're calling in the positive spectrum. And so I'd like to empower us all on getting our dreams made real. So what I'd like you to think about, does everyone have kind of an intention that they have for themselves, that they want to create, that they want to bring forth from now for the next 2 weeks and now from the 6 months? And I want you to write it down. We're not going to actually share them. You can tell me, do you feel more called to write them down, or do you feel more inspired to share them with your voice? Okay, so whichever one, if you feel like you really want to express yours, let me know. Or if you're like, no, I really like the idea of writing it out, go ahead and do that. Good. So just get really clear on what it is you want to create for yourself. What's your vision? What's that thing? And here's the thing, if you're not clear, you don't have to be totally specific. You can simply focus on one thing that feels good. I want to feel good, whatever it is. Just get in tune with yourself, in tune with your heart. What is it you want to birth? What is it you want to bring forth? What are you looking to create? The next 2 weeks, in the next 6 months. And you don't have to be, for the 6 months, you don't have to be very detailed, but maybe there's a feeling, maybe there's an emotion in the next 6 months. I really want to feel this way. In the next 6 months, I really want to call this thing in. Just let it come to you, whatever it is. Okay. And when you feel like you kind of got an idea, maybe you're not 100% totally dialed in, but maybe you're like pretty close to dialed in. Good. I want you to just test your polarity. You'll put one hand on the top of your head and you'll bring your arm forwards to just test, okay, my polarity is right. And then you place your palm up, place that on the top of your hand. And the palm facing up should be shorter than the palm facing down. So palm facing down, arm is long. Palm facing up, arm should be shorter. If it's reversed, you can tap the side of your hand and rub your tender spot. Oh, just to get yourself out of a reversal. Good. And then you can place your arm out, palm facing up, and just test your name. My name is Lotus. My name is Frank. My name is Lotus. My name is Frank. Okay. And then after you've kind of got a gauge for what you're, so forward long means yes, and short, the arm short, that means no. This is from Thought Field Therapy. Most recent masterclass training that we did is awesome. And so now we're going to test our goal or dream. So go ahead and think about what is your big goal or dream you want to create or manifest in the next 6 months, the next 2 weeks. And I just want you to think about it, really tune it into your body and test it. Yeah. And if it's long, please unmute and just raise your hand. So at this point, we're just going to assume that most people, our goals, dreams, the things we want to create, we're actually not testing strong on, which is a challenge to create them.
Yeah, I'm short on both.
Yeah, and that's really what one reason that draws me to do this call, because I want all of us to create what we want to create. Okay, so as you're ready, I want you to focus on your dream, your desire, what you want to create, and I want you to come to your tender spot. And you can unmute here if you would like. If you'd like to share some things with us. And we're going to do this process of self-compassion and forgiveness around our dream. So what you can say is, even though I'm not testing strong on my dream, even though I'm not testing strong on what it is I want to create, even though I'm not testing strong on my intention coming true, I completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm not testing strong on my dream, no, I'm not testing strong on what it is I want to create, I still completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm not testing strong on my dream, completely love and accept myself. So go ahead and think about some reasons why you might not be testing strong on your dream. So something like, even though I feel I don't really believe like I can achieve my dream, I completely love and accept myself. Even though I have doubts about whether or not I'll be able to create my dream, completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to create my dream, I completely love and accept myself. Even though it feels so hard to create my dream, and I don't know how to do it, I completely love and accept myself. Even though it feels like there's so many friggin' obstacles for allowing my dreams to friggin' come true finally, for once in my life, I completely love and accept myself. Even though I feel like I've been battling a pack of wild turkeys, tigers, and llamas to get my dreams to come true, I completely love and accept myself. Even though it feels like an uphill battle and I don't have the right equipment to get to the top, to get my dreams to come true, I still completely love and accept myself. Even though it feels like there's so many obstacles in getting my dreams to come true, I completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm working so hard to get my dreams to come true, it doesn't seem like it's working. I still completely love, honor, and accept myself. Even though I don't know how to make these freaking willy wily, difficult, challenging little pockets of who I want to be and am come true, I still completely love and accept myself. Even though I don't know how to make my dreams come true. Ah, somebody help me. Send me a lifeline. Send me a rope. Send me a ladder. I still completely love and accept myself. Even though sometimes I feel so alone and like there's no one to call and I don't know what to do to make my dreams come true. Oh, I still completely love and accept myself. Even though sometimes it feels like I'm walking through fire to get my dreams to come true. I completely love and accept myself, even though I feel like I don't have a user's manual for getting my dreams to come true. I still completely love and accept myself, even though I don't always know if what I want to create is what I really want to create, and I doubt myself and I'm confused about what I really even want. What is it? I still completely love and accept myself, even though I don't always know what I want. And I feel so frustrated because I just want to know what I want. I still completely love and accept myself, even though I'm working so hard to get my dreams to come true. I completely love, honor, and accept myself. It's okay. Anyone going through what I've had to go through would feel exactly the same way. Anyone who's gone through all the life experiences I've had and had to deal with all the crazy shit I've had to deal with would be feeling exactly the way I am right now. It's okay. I completely love and accept myself. Even though I feel so many challenges, so many obstacles to making my dreams come true, and so much resistance, I completely love and accept myself. Get a deep breath in and out. Okay, so now we're going to go directly to the 7-second treatment, which clears toxic energy. Because there's just so much toxic blocks around our dreams, right? We've just had so many challenges with them. So we're going to do treatment on the breath out. 8 times. Think about your dream. Exhale. Blow it out. Inhale. Breath in. Exhale. Squeeze. Blow it out. Inhale. Exhale. Think about achieving your dream. Inhale. Exhale. Blow it out. Inhale. Think about achieving your dream. Exhale. Blow it out. Inhale. Think about achieving your dream. Exhale. Blow it out. Inhale. Think about achieving your dream. Exhale, blow it out. Inhale. Think about achieving your dream. Exhale, blow it out. Good. Inhale, think about achieving your dream. Exhale, blow it out. Inhale, think about achieving your dream. Exhale, blow it out. Good. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Okay, so we're going to do some collarbone breathing, thinking about achieving your dreams. We're going to do right knuckles on the right side. And tap the back of your hand right underneath the collarbone area here. Collarbone breathing helps to correct your kidney point. The kidneys are the battery of the cell, the battery of the body. A little bit like a cranial sacral treatment. You just tap the back of the hand. Place your knuckles here. Good, you're going to take a deep breath in and hold. About your dreams coming true, making your dreams real. Exhale halfway. Exhale all the way. Inhale halfway. Exhale all the way out. A deep breath in. Deep breath out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Good. So we're going to do the left hand, right side now. Knuckles. Up. I want you to tune into your dreams coming true, making your dreams come true. Take a deep breath in and hold. Exhale halfway. Exhale all the way. Half breath in. Exhale all the way out. Take a deep breath in and out. Release the hand. Think about your dreams coming true. I want to do the 6 reversal statements. So you're going to tap the side of your hand. You're going to say, I want my dreams to come true. I want my intentions to come true. I want to create the life of my dreams. I want to create my happiest life. I want to create my vision. I want to be healthy. I want to be happy. I want to set an intention and have it come true. I want to make my dreams real. I can 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 make my dreams come true. I can really do it. I can really achieve what I want to create. I can create the life of my dreams. I can make my life happy. I can have fulfillment in my life. I can have fun. I can have fun creating the life of my dreams. I can create my vision that I put down on paper. I can create this. I can make my dreams come true. Okay, under the nose. I will create my dreams. I will let my dreams come true. I will make my dreams come true. I will have my intention come true. I will be able to create this. I will be able to do it. I will be able to make it real. I will be able to make it happen. I will make my dreams come true. I will allow it to happen. Under the nose. I am making all of my dreams come true. I am creating what I desire. I am making my dreams real. I am creating the life I want. I am creating the life I choose. I am creating my life. I am creating my dreams being real. I am creative. I am creating. I am creating great creativity in my life. I am transcending all of the obstacles to getting all of my dreams to come true. I'm getting past all of the challenges in the way of my dreams coming true. I am able to do this. I am doing this. I'm listening to my intuition. I'm following my guidance. I am able to make my dreams come true. Middle finger. You're going to tap at the fingernail where it meets the cuticle. I have always been making my dreams come true. I have always been allowing all of my dreams to come true. I have always been making my dreams come true. I have always been making my dreams come true. I've always been making these dreams come true. I've always been making the dreams I wrote down on this piece of paper come true. Good job. You're doing great out there. I've always been making my dreams come true. I've always been getting past all the obstacles, letting my dreams come true. I've always been getting clear on what I want. I've always been releasing the doubt that I can achieve whatever it is I set my mind to. I've always been making my dreams come true. I've always been making my dreams come true. Okay, I will always be making my dreams come true. I will always be getting my dreams to come true. I will always be able to get my dreams to come true. I will always be getting my dreams to come true. I will always know what I want. I'll always know what I want to create. I will always have great clarity around my dreams. I'll always know what I want to create. I'll always know how to create what I want to create. I'll always know what I want to create. I'll always have clarity on what I want to create. I'll always feel safe to create what I want to create. I'll always feel safe to create. I'll always feel safe to share my creations. I'll always feel safe to be creative. I will always feel safe to create. I will always feel safe to make my dreams come true. I will always be able to create whatever it is I want to. I will always be able to do this. I will always have permission to do this. I will always know how to do this. I will always know when to do this. I will always know what it feels like to do this, when to do this, how to do this. And I'll always know that I'm already doing it. Good. Take a deep breath in and out. Final one. Think about the thing on your list. I can always, and I am always creating the life of my dreams. I can, and I am always creating the future I want to create. I can create this. I am always creating this. I can always be, and I am always making my dreams come true. I can always, and I am always allowing my dreams to come true. I can always, and I am always making my dreams come true. I can always, and I am always allowing my dreams to be made real. I am always creating my dreams being real. I can always create what I dream. I can make my dreams come true. I'm always making my dreams come true. I can always know what my dreams are. I'm always letting myself know what my dreams are. I can always hear what my dreams are. I'm always listening to what my dreams are. I can always hear my higher self guiding me. I'm always allowing my higher self to guide me to make my dreams come true. I can, I am always doing this, allowing this, my dreams coming true. My dreams coming true. My dreams coming true. Good, take a deep breath in. And take a deep breath out. Good, now I want you to look at your paper again. And just test to make sure your polarity is right. Palm facing down, the arm should be longer. Palm facing up, the hand should come forward shorter. Okay. And then check your dreamer vision. And see if it is still short or if it has changed.
Both of mine are long.
Yeah. Woo. All right.
And I was also testing just bonus statements of I can make my dreams come true, which was also testing long, which was awesome.
Woo. You know, when we acknowledge and go deep on the emotions, sometimes it just really clears out. Karen, how about you? Did you test your dreams? And was your arm long or short?
Yeah, everything's long.
Awesome.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yes. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go out with a song. Feel the energy anything around your field, letting it get cleansed and purified out of your getting into the power of Mother Earth, power of our voice, power of our ability to express ourselves, especially we as women. what I want you to do is I want you to go into your dream. You're going to tap the front of your hand. And we're going to clear out anything remaining. So just let any last energy from your dream, any issues around making your dream come true. You'll hold your head level, down at the earth. Roll your eyeballs up. Clearing out any last old energy. Come to the other hand. Hold your head level. Look down at the earth. Slowly raise your eyes up to the sky. Back to the center. And come back to your first hand. And I want you to think about having your dream. What do you want to fill up with now? Think about your dream. Fill up
May the
with
light of 1,000 suns shine through. Live the life of grace that you were meant to. May the light of 1,000 suns shine through. Live the life of grace that you were meant to.
So focus on your dream. What is your dream? How will it feel? Fill up more and more with the meaning of the dream, having it, feeling it, receiving it, expand it, make it stronger, make it brighter, and then place your eyes, gaze at the earth. Slowly roll your eyes up, filling up more and more and more with the feeling of having beautiful feeling. What your life will be like. Filling up more and more and more. Come back to center. Lift your other hand. Go deeper this time. Think about your dream. What it is that you want to do. What is it?
Carry the light of God's love into this world.
What is your dream? Feel it.
Be the open heart, the earth.
Slowly raise your eyes up, feeling your dream.
Carry the
Feeling how
light
good
of
it is.
God's love into this
What you're
world.
Feel
Be
it.
the open heart, the
Raise your
earth
eyes up to the
longs
sky.
for. Can you feel it? Can you feel
Filling
it?
up more and more.
Can you feel it?
Your
Can you
dreams
feel
coming
it
true.
in your heart? Can
Feeling
you
the joy.
feel it? Can you feel
Feel it in your
it?
heart.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Take a deep breath in and out. Release your hands. Stretch.
Can you feel it?
Imagine beautiful light showering you. Showering your life. Showering your future. Seeing your vision of what you want to do. Feeling the light of 1,000 suns illuminating your heart, your spirit, your body, and your mind, filling up the pure, unconditional love and light, the creator of all things, blessing you, blessing your dreams, will be like as your dreams real? What will you be doing? Who will you be with? How will it feel? Tuning in the infinite well of creation, the great galactic center, the power of creation to the womb space, your feminine, the root chakra area, your man, Dantian. Feel that power of creation. Give love to your heart. Appreciate yourself. Appreciate this moment. Appreciate who you are. This incredible journey back into love, back into light. Remembering that you are love, you are connected, you are one. Let's take a deep breath in and out. Seeing your dream, seeing your vision, what it is you want to create in your heart. Visualizing it, feeling it, sensing it, smelling it, hearing it, tasting it, touching it. Feel it as though it is here now. Already manifest. You're already living and enjoying it. Feel it plant like a seed into your beautiful heart. That every time you bring your awareness and focus with love to the seed, it will grow and grow. And slowly, over the next couple of weeks, you'll begin to see the growth. And it will begin to attract the right people, places, situations, and circumstances to truly bring forth and create this beautiful vision. Full expression, full physical manifestation in the physical realm. You can taste it, you can touch it now. You can grasp it in your hand. It is here. Our dream is here. We've made it and created it now. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, God. And it is done, it is done, it is done. Spirit, show us. Show us, show us, show us. Seed has been planted, your vision has been created, and you rest firm in the knowledge and knowing that you are a powerful creator, creating with the universe, fulfilling your natural birthright, fulfilling your natural mission. Create the life and worlds that you so desire. And it is so. Thank you, 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 thank you. Good job, everyone. Fantastic. Good work. So that will conclude today's class. I hope you enjoyed learning about the power of Ophiuchus, the 13th sign, and the power of creation, and how we just tapped into Ophiuchus just now. Bringing together the yin and the yang, masculine, feminine, intention and prayer, to create the vision and seed, to create a new thing in our life. That's really what it's